Audi has just released the S6 Sportback E-tron. This is the performance version of the A6 Sportback E-tron. So let's check out the exterior, interior, get it for a drive and see what it's all about. Now, starting with the exterior, it has more style similarities to the gasoline S7 over the traditional S6 due to its Sportback design with a major slope in the back. This slope helps achieve a more aerodynamic design, and it does. A whopping 0.23 coefficient of drag, which makes it Audi's most aerodynamic car. For the front, it's got slimmer headlights with a color-matched grille, and these scoops on the side with all of this black trim, which makes it look very, very sporty. On the back, it has an end-to-end light bar feeding into the taillights, which has some pretty cool features I'm going to show you later, and it's topped off with an illuminated Audi badge. This model is sporting a staggered wheel set with two 45/40 R21s in front and two 75/35 R21s in back, wrapped in Pirelli P0 Performance summer tires. One of the benefits of having an EV is extra storage space, and the S6 did not disappoint with this frunk area. Pretty good size for a duffel bag, and washer fluid fill-up is easily accessible. Now, where the cargo area really shines is going to be obviously in the trunk, about 26 cubic feet behind the second row, but with the second row down, it jumps up to nearly 40 cubic feet with a 6-foot length. Checking out underneath this little subfloor here, Audi doesn't give you a spare tire, but you do have a tire repair kit, and you've got your charging bundles right here. There are actually charge ports located on either side. Over here on the passenger side, but on the driver's side over here is where you're gonna have access to level 3 DC fast charging. You'll also notice it has a full glass roof, which actually has some surprises that I'll show you in a little bit. I have to say, one of my favorite things are these soft close doors. You just have to get this just close enough and it'll cinch in for you. Just beautiful. Being an EV, one of the first questions people are going to ask is range, right? So the S6 Sportback E-tron can have an estimated 324 miles of range, which is pretty fantastic, but that is with the 20-inch wheel option. This has the 21-inch wheel option, which actually has an estimated range of closer to 302 miles, but that is still a fantastic number. However, if you are looking for more range, you can get the A6 Sportback E-tron, which has up to 392 miles with the Ultra package. Now, the interior has no shortage of premium materials, including these red seats. They call this a Ross red, and this leather is so soft, and it's heavily bolstered because sports seats are standard when it comes to the S6 version. It also has a massaging functionality for both of the front seats as well. Overall, the materials in here are fantastic. We have some carbon fiber type materials here, leather dash, micro suede, a lot of soft press materials, a squared off steering wheel with all of your buttons, which has things like your heated steering wheel functionality on the side. Now, the one gripe I have, even though this has a ton of premium materials, is that it still has a large chunk of piano black in the center. Now, in the center here is where you're gonna find your red outlined start-stop button. We've got different drive select modes, and that's gonna range you from balanced, dynamic, comfort, and efficiency. And then we actually have a physical dial for volume as well as next track, previous track, and this is how you can turn sound off as well. Center console actually goes deeper than you think. This actually goes back, well, at least the whole Audi manual length. So that's pretty nice that it isn't just the storage on top, but actually goes underneath as well. What else stands out to me, obviously, all of the screens, and I say all of because there's not just two, there are 3 screens. The big one being this 14.5-inch infotainment screen, which has wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and it also has an AI assistant that is with ChatGPT. So you can talk to it normally. You don't have to talk like a robot like you had to in the olden days. You can say things like, "Hey, Audi, make it hotter in here."
I am setting the temperature to 67 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay. "Hey, Audi, my butt is warm."
I am turning on the seat ventilation for you.
"Hey, Audi, my butt is too cold."
Your seat is getting a little warmer.
So it just not only just turned it off and on, but actually adjusted different levels of the ventilated seats or the heated seat functionality, as well as your temperature controls. And that's not it. It can bring up a number of things like your Apple CarPlay maps, your maps in general. The ChatGPT in this is fantastic, and the fact that you can talk to it naturally is so much nicer than having to remember specific commands, because that's all that it will respond to. Now, it also has this 11.9-inch cluster, and these are integrated really nicely into a curved dash here. But the big thing here is there's a screen for the passenger. This is a huge 10.9-inch screen just for the passenger itself. And it has everything from navigation to music to YouTube and different apps that the passenger can use. So if you've got a co-pilot, they don't have to reach over and use everything right here. They can actually start looking for different destinations and everything right there. Or if they just want to zone out and watch YouTube while you drive, they can do that too. Now, the S6 is dual motor, which means it is all-wheel drive, but it is more rear-wheel drive biased for that sporty experience. It's got 496 horsepower, but in launch control, you're actually looking at closer to 543 horsepower and a 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Yeah, it's pretty quick. But what about comfort, right? It's fast, but is it comfortable? Well, it does have adaptive air ride suspension, which can add to the versatility of the ride stiffness or the handling capability, but it also has 4 different levels of ride heights, including a lift mode in case you're going over some large curbs or anything, because this is a relatively low vehicle. Now, coming back to the main infotainment screen, this is a brand new software that they have, and I have to tell you, it is responsive, it is quick, it is very easy to use. And when I mean responsive, like, it is just coming up with the maps and dragging all over the place, really no lag time. I'm fairly impressed. And you can connect to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto very easily, but it's got a lot of other features such as your lights. I said I was going to talk to you about that. So for your exterior lighting, it has a few different signature modes. 8, in fact. It's got 8 different signature modes that you can scroll through depending on what kind of mood you're feeling in. And that's not all that you can customize. You can even customize the interior lighting. So there's an LED bar right underneath the windshield that you can customize that light, as well as the lights that are in the dash here, 2 different colors that you can select. But the bar underneath the windshield serves as a dual purpose because it will actually light up with different sections for your turn signals as well as your hazards. So if you're prone to forgetting that your turn signals are on, you've got an extra visual to show you, turn those bad boys off. But the cool stuff doesn't stop there. This has a very special glass roof. You can actually change it from clear to opaque. Okay, not the newest thing in the world, right? But this is customizable in so many different ways. It has 9 different panels, and with a press of a button, you can actually show different sections that alter from opaque to clear, and then press it again and it will switch. Not impressed yet? Just wait. So if you pull this all the way forward, it brings it to opaque. But let's say you just want half of it to be kind of opaque. You little clicks and it will actually go halfway or all the way. Same thing with reverse. Little clicks, 1 panel at a time, and you can have shade in the front and sun in the back, or vice versa. So this is incredibly versatile. I'm so happy that this isn't embedded with multiple different buttons to figure out which one you want. Everything is in one button with 1 touches or hard presses. And it works so well, and I love to see something like this. It has incredibly responsive steering, gives you a lot of feedback through the steering wheel. Certainly not as smooth and comfortable as the A6 would be, but this is the performance sport version, so it definitely has more of a performance sporty driving experience. Now, when you have a super sloped back to a car like you do on this S6 Sportback, you're gonna think, well, there's gonna be like no headroom back there. But you would be wrong. Surprisingly, I have a decent amount of headroom, and a lot of that is thanks to this full roof glass panel, which gives me a couple inches of height, 5'7" for reference, tons of headroom, but even more so a plethora of leg room. I left the seat where I drive, and this is tons of room back here, and a little hump at the bottom here in the middle, but for the most part, relatively flat. But what I love to see is we have our own temperature controls down here. Not only are they adjustable temperature controls, we've got our vents, but the outboard seats are heated as well. Seats are pretty bolstered in the back, which is what you would expect for a sporty type vehicle. But when it comes to the middle seat, this feels rather awkward. Mind my giant belly. But the seat itself is kind of narrow, so you're kind of just teetering on the middle seat portions. So this could work for short trips, but if you're planning a road trip with an adult in the middle, this could be relatively uncomfortable. Audi achieved something very impressive in my mind. Now, this is one of the quietest rides I've ever been in. They installed noise dampening glass in the front two windows, but what they achieved is feeling disconnected from road noise and any unwanted noise from outside, while remaining connected to the road and having a very special driving experience. That's a really hard thing to do. Otherwise, you make it too quiet and you just kind of feel like you're secluded and on a boat, but you still have this great handling, and I think they just did an amazing job. God, I must say, the handling is fantastic. It is incredibly responsive. I feel like this car is suctioned to the road, and the staggered tire setup definitely helps with traction. And overall, this driving experience has been fantastic. I really don't have a whole lot of negative things to say. Everything is super premium on the inside. It is fast as all get out. It has quite a bit of range, up to 332 miles for the S6, but up to almost 400 miles on the A6. That's huge. Now, one of the main questions you may be asking yourself when you're car shopping is price. Well, the S6 Sportback E-tron starts at the premium trim, which is just under $80,000, but it tops out at the prestige trim at about $86,000. Now, that's a lot of money for sure, but it is in line with the BMW i5 M60 and comes way under the Mercedes-Benz AMG EQE. But if you're looking to save a little bit on your pocketbook, you could go for the A6 Sportback E-tron, which can be had for closer to $67,000. But if a performance-based EV with a premium interior is more so what you're after, then this S6 Sportback E-tron is checking off all those boxes with an even lower price tag than its competitors. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Check out alltfl.com for even more content. This is Jen in Huntington Beach. We'll see you next time. There's definitely hair in my mouth. Without hair in my mouth, that's impossible, 'cause I'm at the beach. My hair's all over the place.